I'm John Batchelor. Comet Ison. Comet Ison, many headlines at Thanksgiving time. Comet Ison was a sun grazer. At one point, it was believed this comet disappeared as it approached the sun. It emerged miraculously, reduced, but nonetheless, Comet Ison lives for another long pass around the sun. What is important about Comet Ison is that is an example of a near-Earth object. A comet is part of the concern of planetary defense. We must concentrate on asteroids. NASA has a good program worldwide to look for near-Earth objects, asteroids of a certain scale, because we always worry about dinosaurs and how they went the way of a hit once upon a time millions of years ago. But we've learned recently from the contact with an asteroid last summer in Russia that it doesn't have to be of a certain scale, that 30 meters can cause a lot of damage, send a lot of energy to the ground, and hurt cities. Charlie Pellegrino, who is the author of, with his colleagues, a new book about getting a mitigator into space very quickly, Star Trek, The New Race to Space, is here to present why it is we need to worry about comets. Let's use Comet Ison as an example. Charlie, a very good evening to you. Comet Ison was reduced by its passage around the sun. Why would we now concern ourselves with Ison?
Well, its center of its path is still going to go about 40 million miles over the northern hemisphere. That's pretty safe distance. But as it went away from us, approaching within less than one solar diameter of the sun, really getting baked, really being gravitationally ripped apart, it went in as into the solar corona as kind of like a rifle shell, and it came back aimed at Earth sort of like a rifle spray. A lot of very tiny pellets. It's still, almost all of it is probably going to go high over the northern hemisphere, but it's almost like literally a shot across our bow, a warning shot that we really need to watch out for some of these smaller objects.
Because a comet comes once. We believe comets come in from the Oort cloud, way outside. This is very deep at the edge of our solar system, coming in and making an orbit around the sun and then heading back out again. But they change their orbits all the time. And rather than the asteroids that we track near Earth asteroids, these are one-shots that come to us and we won't see them again perhaps for 1 million years or more. So right now, Charlie, do we have a defense from a comet that shows up that they start to track, say, at the Jupiter orbit?
There's nothing we could do but watch. Even the asteroids, if we saw a small one of about enough to really damage a state or a country, there isn't much more we can do. We're not even very effective at watching right now. A comet we would see, probably, but they're worse than asteroids. Asteroids we can predict 10, 20 years in advance. A comet, we have almost no time at all. Ison, for example, it came close to the sun on Thanksgiving Day, and it's going to be reaching us on the night of Christmas, passing about 40 million miles overhead.
All right, say right now, Ison wasn't on this path to take it away from Earth. However, was on a path, and we worry about detritus coming off. What detritus from comets? Many of the meteor showers that you enjoy year long. I think there's a Geminid shower and there's an Aquariid shower. They happen frequently. Those are the remains of comets. We're passing through the debris of a comet trail that broke up many decades ago or hundreds of years ago. We're going to pass through a comet trail frequently. If that comet trail spews detritus on Earth, what way do we have to stop it right now, Charlie?
Well, the odds are very low that the splatter of Ison is going to reach us.
Right.
Even if we're in the fringe of it, what we would probably see is a few softball-sized objects hitting the atmosphere that night, being very brilliant flamethrowers and smoke trailers. Not likely to get hit by anything like hit Russia, which was about an Eiffel Tower mass detonating across the sky.
All right, but an Ison that was not a Betean, an Ison that was spewing and coming closer, can we stop the debris?
No, we would be able to do nothing with the technology that we presently have available to us.
What could StarTram do? What is StarTram, and how fast could you get up a mitigator?
StarTram makes it possible to get payloads into space very quickly and very cheaply if it's up and operational, which the Generation 1 model could be up and operating within 5 to 8 years. It makes access to space no more expensive, really, than air freight around the world. So with StarTram, we could get equipment, engines that have already been tested. We could get them into space and get them up there if we had a year's warning. And we could actually get something that could leave Earth orbit, maybe even have them already in Earth orbit, little nuclear engines that could get the mass of about 20 Toyota Celicas up to 750 kilometers a second. And if we knew that that comet had our name on it, we could actually, that would be enough mass to completely destroy it long before it got anywhere near us. We would only get a good meteor shower.
How much of that can we do with the chemical rockets right now? Anywhere near the scale of StarTram?
Nothing. We can't get anything up there that, if we wanted to, we don't even have the heavy lift boosters that could get the equipment up there. So we really couldn't do that much right now. And we don't have the engines that we could put in orbit that could get out to a comet very quickly and do something. We don't have those built and ready to go yet.
Charlie, it's hard for the public to accept the fact that we're not spinning a Hollywood disaster movie. This is fairly routine stuff. The Earth gets hit by the debris fields it swims through all the time. We haven't had one since last summer. Okay, fine. We had one last summer. We didn't know it was coming. A comet we would see at a certain distance. But right now, say I gave you the 6 months we had for ISON. With StarTram, could we get up there and mitigate it in 6 months?
Yes, we could do that in 6 months.
And because we don't have one, that means we're just lucky these days, right?
Yeah, and we also need a much better space watch program that would protect us against what detonated over Russia and things a little larger than that. And in Russia, we were lucky because it hit obliquely. It basically was flying almost tangent to the atmosphere. If it came straight in, it would have gone off with about 15 megatons right above the ground. Sort of like Siberia in 1908.
Charlie Pellegrino. The new book is StarTram, The New Race to Space. Pellegrino, James Powell, and George Mays are the authors. We're talking about mitigating a catastrophe that is natural. Objects in space. We swim through it. We're the product of objects in space around our sun. I'm John Batchelor.